Hello, and welcome to another tutorial from ViewZen Labs on the Analytics platform. Today, we'll explore the filter component. Filters are a key part of any dashboard. Filters make it easy for users to apply different data perspectives to a single dashboard. They help provide answers in an organized and structured way by enabling users to narrow the results and view the data that is of utmost interest to them. ViewZen Analytics provides 4 kinds of filter to be used in the dashboard: component filters, sheet filters, dashboard filters, and end-user filters. Component filters can be used to view data of interest on a specific component by permanently applying the filtering conditions. Component filters can be applied on any of the dashboard components, such as a custom card, grid, geomap, or chart. Each component has a filter button on the top right corner of the property pane. Click on the filter icon to add, edit, and delete filters. Sheet filters can be used to apply filters to all the components in a sheet. Dashboard filters can be applied to the entire dashboard, that is, to all the sheets and components in the dashboard. Component, sheet, and dashboard filters are used to display the data of interest to the viewer. These filters are applied permanently and cannot be removed, edited, modified, or deleted by the end users. For example, if we want to create a dashboard for a particular department, a dashboard filter to display data only for that particular department can be added to the dashboard. This will ensure that the data displayed in all the sheets and components pertain to that particular department only. In ViewZen Analytics, we also give the end users the flexibility to apply certain filters to view data of their interest. These filters are called end-user filters. End-user filters are available as a component and can be configured by the dashboard designer and can be used by the end users. As the end-user filter is also a component, it can be configured only in design mode and can only be viewed and used in view or presentation mode. End-user filters, when used, get applied to the whole dashboard. In this tutorial, we will learn to create end-user filters. To create an end-user filter, first switch to designer mode from the mode switch drop-down at the top right corner. After that, go to the ribbon at the top of the canvas, select the filter icon, and then click the location in the canvas where we want to place the filter component. If there are no elements on the canvas, then the filter will be placed on the topmost left corner on the canvas. Let's dig deeper into the filter configuration. When we hover the cursor over the filter, we will see the edit and delete icons. We can delete the filter by clicking on the delete icon. But while doing so, we should note that deletion cannot be reversed. If we want to access the properties pane of the filter, we need to click on the edit icon. The properties pane always opens on the right-hand side, on top of the canvas. The properties pane of the filter will allow us to design the appearance, create or change the content, and position the filter. Another way to access the properties pane is to click on the pen icon in the ribbon after selecting the filter. Let us now look at the property configurations one by one. For filters, properties can be configured under the Data tab, Format tab, and the Tooltips tab. We will first delve into the functionalities under the Data tab. The Data tab allows us to specify the filter column. A filter can be based on a single column of the dataset or a context. Context fields as filters are useful when our dashboard has visuals from more than one dataset and a few of those datasets have common data that are mapped with common context. Column or context for the filter can be dragged and dropped from the dataset field area to the filter column area of the Data tab. Further, we can edit the name of the data field by double-clicking on the field name. To change the already added filter column, either we can delete and add again, or we can click on the drop-down icon next to it and select the new data field. Now let's move on to the Format tab, where we can create or change the filter label, Design the appearance of the filter component and set additional configurations depending upon the type of the filter. To begin with, we will go to the label configuration. If we do not wish to display this label, we can turn it off/T activate using the toggle button next to Label Settings. Label here is synonymous to the filter's display name. In the label configuration, we can enter the label that we want to display on the filter. The formatting tool on the top of the label settings contains the label formatting options. We can format the filter label in ways similar to what we do on MS Word. To change the formatting of the label, we have to just select the label and then choose the font style, font size, text color, text background, and alignment. Further, we can even format each letter or word of a filter label. At times, we might want to use the same label or background color on multiple filters. To achieve that, we can copy the hex code from the color box of the source filter label and paste it into the hex fields of all the destination filter labels. We can use the properties below the rich text area to format the filter label. Filter label formatting options help us to position the label, add the background color, put a border and style the border, add padding or shadow. In appearance, we can add the background color, text color, shadow, and border to the filter component. For choosing the background color, click on the color box and then choose the required color either by selecting from the color palette or by entering the RGBA or HSLA or hex color codes. If we wish to use the same color in another filter that we have created, we can copy the hex code of the source filter and paste it into the hex code field in the respective destination filter. The primary text color for the filter in ViewZen Analytics is white. However, we can choose an alternative text color as well. When an alternative primary color is selected, the filter label will appear in that color, except where a filter label is assigned a text color under their respective property configuration. Using padding, we can control the space that is to be left between the filter and the border of the filter. Additionally, we can also add shadows to the filter box by specifying the offset values, blur radius, and color. Likewise, we can specify the width, style, color, and radius of the border of the filter. In the general settings, we can adjust the position, dimension, and size of a filter. By specifying values for X and Y coordinates, we determine where on the screen the filter will be placed, and by entering values for width and height, we control the shape and orientation of the filter. The size function helps us to provide the measurement of the filter component. The component link feature allows us to effortlessly incorporate the filter into any portal or application. This means that the link serves as an API that can be seamlessly integrated into various portals, enabling them to call up the filter and display it within the portal interface. The filter config allows us to define the behavior of the filter component by configuring the following properties: filter type, placeholder, and scope. We can allow users to filter the data by selecting one or more values from a drop-down or by keying in the search/filter string in the input box. The filter type property is used to either allow the user to select a single value from the drop-down list of values, or to select multiple values from the drop-down list of values, or to enter a text in the input box. When the filter type is set to single select, the values from the filter column are displayed in a drop-down, and the user can filter the data by any one of the listed values. When the filter type is set to multi-select, the values from the filter column are displayed in a drop-down, and the user in this case can filter the data by one or more of the listed values. The filter values can be selected by clicking on the selection box displayed before the value. The single input filter, also referred to as a text input filter or search filter, enables the user to filter data by a single text input that is keyed in the input box. In a single input filter, unlike single select and multi-select wherein a drop-down list is displayed to the user, a text input box is displayed. The placeholder property in the filter config is a text or visual cue displayed within the filter input field to provide guidance or context to users about the type of data to be entered. A few examples of placeholders are type here or select that indicate to the user that they should type or select here in the keyword or value by which the dashboard or the sheet is to be filtered. By default, placeholders single select and multi-select filter type is select and single input filter type. A placeholder is type here. As stated, they are just the default values, and the dashboard designer can use any appropriate string here that best explains the context in which the end user is expected to filter the data. Placeholders are designed to disappear as soon as the user starts typing, ensuring that they don't interfere with the user's input. However, if the user removes their input, the placeholder text will reappear to guide them on the expected input format or content. The scope specifies the realm of the filter. The scope or realm of a filter can be a component, sheet, or dashboard. Scope helps us to limit or control the visual components on which the filter gets applied. It designates which all visual components can respond to the filter condition specified in this filter. If the scope of the filter is sheet, then all visual components will be filtered by the input data. Tooltips are used to give extra explanations or instructions. Tooltips can be activated under the Tooltips tab of the Properties pane. Tooltips can be configured for different parts of a visual component. Visual tooltip will appear when we hover on a visual component such as an image or a chart. If we do not wish to display this tooltip, we can turn it off/T activate using the toggle button next to Visual Tooltip Settings. Once activated, the tooltip will appear on hovering over the visual component. We can enter or modify the tooltip text in the Rich Text Editor. Both tooltip and tooltip text can be formatted. The tooltip text can be formatted in various different ways. For example, we can choose a font style and font size. We can give the text or its background a color. We can align the text. We can emphasize the text, bold, italics, or underline. We can strike through a word or sentence, and we can use a word or sentence as superscript or subscript. We can use the properties below the rich text area to format the tooltip. Tooltip formatting options help us to position the tooltip, put a border and style the border, add padding or shadow. After configuring the above steps, it's crucial to save these changes in the Properties pane. This ensures that the configured properties are applied and persist across sessions. Click on the Save button within the Properties pane to save the changes. Once saved, the settings get applied. Then, if we edit the button again, the newly applied settings will appear in the Properties pane. If we close the Properties pane without saving the changes, the unsaved changes will still be available until either the changes are applied, which means save changes, or discarded, which means cancel changes. This final step completes the setup and configuration of the filter component.